Hello? Is this thing on? All right, boys and girls, your teachers have asked me to stop by and talk to you a little bit about order of operations. I'm Aunt Sally. You may recognize me. Aunt Sally is the one who's going to teach you exactly how to solve this kind of problem. When I'm here, when I am in the house, you have to follow all of my rules. Take a look at that expression right there. That's scary. But Aunt Sally's here. She's going to help you. And if you follow my rules in the right order every time, you'll have no problems and it'll be easy. I'm about to tell you a little bit about order of operations. Oh, look at that picture of me. I'm so cute. I'm just adorable. Anyway, what you need to remember is to please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. P-E-M-D-A-S, or PEMDAS, if that helps you. I want to see those letters written on your paper every single time there is an expression. Every single time. I don't care if you think you can do it in your head. I want to see those letters. So when you get a problem, I'm going to see you write PEMDAS down along the sides, because those letters, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, while I am awesome and I know you love me, they actually stand for some math terms. The P stands for parentheses, the E for exponents, the M for multiply, the D for divide, the A for add, and the S for subtract. However, you're in 5th grade now. It's not just parentheses you need to worry about. It's parentheses, brackets, and braces. And you need to remember that the parentheses are those things that you see when we're reading a lot. Brackets look a little bit different. They have sharp right angle corners. And braces are those things that you see that hold a whole bunch of information together. You need to know parentheses, brackets, and braces. You know that exponents are those little floating numbers that never, ever, ever tell us to add, but instead to multiply by each other. So for instance, 2 squared means 2 times 2, not 2 plus 2, though those both equal 4, so that's a bad example. Let's try 3 to the 2nd power, or 3 squared. It does not mean 3 plus 3. It never means 3 plus 3. We know it means 3 times 3, which equals 9. Multiply, divide, add, and subtract. Those are easy. You know those. What you need to remember is that I wear glasses, and so you have to do those operations in the order that you see them from left to right, because we read numbers the same as we read words from left to right. Are you ready? Do you think you can handle a couple examples? Let's try it. When I see an expression, I'm like, wait a second, we didn't go over my rules. We have to go over the rules. First of all, you have to do these in the right order. There is no excuse not to. Every single time, you're going to do this in the right order. You can only do one step at a time. Don't try and get ahead of yourself. You're going to mess up, get the whole expression wrong. If you do an expression wrong, you're going to get a completely wrong number. You have to do one step at a time. Once you've done one step, then you have to bring everything down that you haven't used, no matter how unimportant. If it's a 0, I don't care, it's worth nothing, it still needs to come down. After that, you use your PEMDAS and you do the next step in my order. You're going to follow the order that Aunt Sally says. At the very end, I should see a nacho. Did you know I love nachos? They're so good. I want to see a nacho on every expression that you do. At this point, you're like, what's Aunt Sally talking about? Let me show you guys. Here we go. So I'm about to do this next problem. I've written PEMDAS. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally down the side. I'm going to remind myself that that means parentheses, brackets, or braces, exponents, multiply, divide, add, and subtract. And not subtract. I need to put a little subtraction sign there. And I wear glasses to remind you to do them in the order that you see them. Once I have my cheat sheet on the side of my paper, I'm ready to go. So if I take a look at this problem right here, I'm going to start with my P, please. My parentheses, brackets, and braces. And this one has parentheses and brackets. I'm going to start with my parentheses first. And that's all I'm going to do, because the rule says to do one thing and just one thing at a time. What is 7 plus 3? Well, it's 10. And then I have to bring everything else down. My bracket, my 5 squared, my multiplication sign. I can see I've got a nacho started here. I've touched those two parentheses and everything in the middle. I don't need to bring those down, but I have not touched that bracket yet. And I haven't done any of this stuff. Whew, I got a lot of work to do. If I look over at the side, I'm still on parentheses, brackets, and braces because I still have brackets. But within that bracket right here, I also have an exponent, and I know I have to do the exponents before I can do anything else. Well, what is 5 squared? It's 5 times 5. So I know it's going to be 25. And then I'm going to bring everything else down that I have not used. And now that I have two numbers within my bracket, I can solve that. 25 times 10 is the power of 10. I can do that easy peasy because 25 times 1 is just 25, and I add a 0. And then I bring everything down that I haven't used. If I look over at my cheat sheet on the side here, I've taken care of my parentheses, I've taken care of my brackets, my exponents. I have a subtraction and a multiplication left, and multiplication comes first, so I'm going to do that. 4 times 5 is 20. And then I'm not going to get ahead of myself. I'm going to bring everything else down. And now I only have that one thing left. Well, what is 250 minus 20? Well, it is 230. There's nothing left to bring down, so I can make my nacho. Told you, nachos. Oh, so delicious. Do you see how following my steps finally got me to the answer? And I did it one step at a time. And you know what? I could do all of that math in my head if I did it one step at a time. Let's try another one. I've got another problem here, and I'm going to come over here, and I have my, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally down the side, my parentheses, brackets, and braces, my exponent, my multiplication, my division, my addition, and my subtraction. And I wear glasses to remind me to do it in the order that I see it. If I start up at please, for please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, I see I have parentheses. Let's start right here with these first two in the order that I see it. What is 25 divided by 5? Well, it's 5. And then I'm going to bring everything else down that I haven't used because I don't want to get ahead of myself. I have brought everything down, but I have another set of parentheses here, so I'm going to go ahead and take care of that. What is 9 divided by 3? Well, it's 3. I'm glad you knew that. Now what am I going to do? Follow the rules. Bring everything else down. Everything I haven't used, I have to bring down. I have no more parentheses and no more brackets or braces, but I do have an exponent, so let's take care of that. What is that? Does that mean 2 times 3? No, it does not. It means 2 times 2 times 2. It never means 2 times 3. That should be a review. I know your teachers covered that. Well, 2 times to the third power, 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 more is 8. Little cheese dip off to the side there. 2 to the third power is 8. And then I'm going to bring everything else down that I haven't used yet. Whew, now I've got addition and subtraction. Now, here's where my glasses come in handy. Addition comes first, but the glasses remind me I have to do them in the order that I see them, and the addition and the subtraction are in the same circle. I subtract first because I do addition and subtraction in the order that I see them when I read from left to right, the same as we read a book. So if I'm looking at this, 5 minus 3 is 2, and then I bring everything else down that I haven't used, and I can finish up my problem because I know 2 plus 8 is 10. And if you take a look at that, what do I have right there? A nacho, and it's delicious. Did you notice I did all that math in my head, and I know that you can too, but I did it one step at a time. I've got one more example for you before I'm going to let you go on your own. Whew, whew, that one's scary. Whoa, that's scary. But if I follow my rules, and I please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, I bet I can do that entire problem in my head. I've got, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, off to the side. I am drawing my clues, my parentheses, brackets, and braces, my exponents, multiply, divide, addition, subtract, and I give Aunt Sally glasses to remind us that we do it in the order that we see it. All right, I'm going to take a look at this problem. Good grief, there's a lot going on here. I'm going to start with the parentheses. So I have this parentheses right here. Well, 27 minus 17 is easy. That's 10. But But I'm not going to get ahead of myself. I am going to bring everything else down that I haven't used. Every single part. Whew, all right. I need to move on to these parentheses that are in the brackets that are in the braces. Oh, look at that. Aunt Sally must have forgotten to put that other bracket there. Don't tell anybody. I'm going to do the stuff that's in parentheses first. 4 divided by 2 is 2. And then I'm going to bring everything down, including this bracket that I am positive Aunt Sally meant to type in there when she was making this. And get all of this information in here. There we go. Ooh, that's sloppy. Don't remember the secret. Don't tell your teachers. Handwriting is more important in math than it is in writing. All right, so now I'm going to get these 2 brackets here. Well, that's easy. 3 plus 2 is 5. I'm not going to get ahead of myself. I'm going to bring everything else down that I need. It's neat handwriting, so Aunt Sally doesn't yell at me. And I still have those braces. 2 times 5, well, that's easy. That's 10. Going to bring everything else down. Y'all, what is 10 times 10? It's 100, and I have a beautiful looking nacho. If you think about your Aunt Sally, and you please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, and you remember that it means parentheses, brackets, and braces because you're in 5th grade, that it's exponents and then multiply, divide, and add and subtract. And you give Aunt Sally glasses to remember to multiply and divide and then add and subtract in the order that you see them. You're going to be fine, I promise you. But you have to take it one step at a time, bring everything else down, and do the next step. Now, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go get some nachos. Hey, Uncle Chris, are there any nachos in our house?